Hey guys, welcome, and we're live. Hey guys, welcome back to KRTD Media Network. I'm your host, the Falcone General, and this is the this is the seventh episode of the International Workers Movement podcast. Yes, I know I don't have a guest today, but we are going to be reading some May Day declarations from two communist parties. As well as, first off, I'm going to read a press release over an event that KRTD Media is going to be hosting uh, soon. So stay tuned for that. Now, now let me share my screen. Okay, wait for it. Here you go. Now, announcing the U.S. Solution Summit presented by KRTD Media. New York Queens, its first of its kind, KRTD Media Group is excited to announce the inaugural U.S. Solution Summit, which will be streamed live on KRTD Media and social media channels on Saturday, May 22nd uh, on 2021, beginning at 4 p.m. Eastern Time at 1 p.m. Pacific Time. The event will be scheduled for 5 hours. This is an opportunity for great minds to come together to address the challenges facing our society. The summit will be featuring a megatron of 6 panels, each panel focused on specific topics discussing real-world common-sense solutions that can be implemented quickly in areas of education, cultural affairs, electoral politics, economics, press freedom. Each panel will feature a roundtable of prominent, well-respected political influencers and experts and journalists. So let us scroll down. I'll also type in the chat if you can see what I'm putting. If you could see my screen here. And so let's start. Featured panelists include Mark Charles, former U.S. presidential candidate and indigenous rights advocate; Shahid Buttar, former congressional candidate and constitutional scholar; Justin Jackson, philanthropist and Los Angeles Chargers football player; Graham Elwood, comedian and podcast host and the political vigilante; Ron Falcone, a comedian and podcast host of the New News with Ron; Fiorella Isabel and Craig Pasta Jouard, YouTube hosts of The Combo Couch; Kit Cabillo and Daniel, I can't pronounce his last name, YouTube host of Harlan's Media; Bruno Franco, YouTube show host of Frank Analysis, my good friend; Steph Zamorano, comedian, YouTube co-host of The Jimmy Dore Show; Madeline Hoffman, former New Jersey senatorial candidate and current New Jersey gubernatorial candidate; Dan Whitefield, Arkansas's current and former senatorial candidate. And also, that's just some of the panelists, not all. I won't name the rest. And sign up to receive email updates visit www.ussolutionssummit.com. All KRTD Media social media platforms and future Solutions Summits are already being planned to address the vast volumes of topics the summit will not have time to address. About KRTD Media Group. KRTD Media Group is a fully volunteer, independent media organization dedicated to reporting the most objective news and holding valuable, straightforward discussions of multiple perspectives as a means of contributing to the construction evolution of a mature and well-educated, informed population. For any more information, press only. Camille Harris, Public Relations Director, KRTD Media Group, phone number 609-225-6611 at kharris@krtdmediagroup.com. For more information on U.S. Solutions Summit, view our scheduled full lineup panelists at hhp ussolutions.com. So let's get in. Since we're all finished with that, let's get in with our other of our May Day declarations, as well as a little introduction to basically who these communist parties are. One, we are going to be checking the May Day declaration of basically the May Day declaration of the Communist Party of India, Maoists. Okay, Communist Party of India, Maoists, where basically we're going to be showing their May 1st declaration. As well as then we are going to be showing the Communist Party of Peru, or you might as well. Oh, sorry about that. Communist Party of Peru, which you might as well know them as the Shining Path. Both of them are waging protracted People's War in their respective countries of India and Peru. And we will be first reading what the Naxals have to say, and this video will be blocked in India, so, you know. But let's first read what they had to say. We'll zoom in more. Okay. So, the India CPI Maoist May 1st declaration. Following what we published this year, declaration of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of India Maoist on May 1st will result to the cause of the following path of the world proletarian revolution. Okay. Let us work for more unity and organization of the world revolution workers and toileters, their organizations. The toiling class of the world, especially the proletariat, is going to celebrate May Day this year on the eve of 150 years of the Paris Commune, where the proletariat high-held red flags and achieved state power. This is a big festive day with the entire proletariat of the world. It is the World Proletariat Rights Day. May Day is one of the days which the proletariat assesses to balance of the forces and pledges to work relentlessly with a firm determination and to mobilize its entire strength for freedom, independence, and equality, brotherhood, and to accomplish the proletarian revolutions and world socialist revolutions. On the occasion of May Day, the Central Committee of our party conveys its heartfelt revolutionary greetings to the proletariat of the world. It pays humble revolutionary homage to all the toilers who laid down their lives to achieve their rights. Imperialism is facing a severe crisis all over the world. The exploitative ruling classes are indulging in a number of attacks and conspiracies to shift the burden of this crisis on the proletariat to intensify the exploitation of the labor force. By the time the world crisis about to break in a more intense way, the financial and economic crisis of 2008, the COVID pandemic took over the world. This is one of the deadliest viruses that the imperialists created out of their own hunt for profits. While the contemporary and undependent with the pandemic, scores of migrant workers lost their livelihoods on the streets, and multiple national corporate enterprises on their comprador companies are competing for the vaccine business and gaining multifold super profits. Imperialist globalization has resulted in the expansion of the capitalist world economy to an unprecedented level, so the contradiction between imperialism and the oppressed nationalities and the oppressed people, between the bourgeoisie and the proletariat among imperialist forces, reached the peak. There is a rise in the imperialist aggression, the capitalist onslaught ongoing to content between imperialists, especially the US imperialists and Chinese social imperialists, which, you know me, if you know me for long enough, I don't see China as just social imperialists. I see them as mainly imperial. For the world hegemony to exploit the natural wealth of countries of the world, the trade war is putting a severe economic burden on the oppressed people of backwards countries. The proletariat and the peasantry and the middle class people and women and and religious minorities and oppressed nationalities and other communities facing political, social, cultural exploitation and oppression. The disparity between the rich and poor have reached unprecedented levels. Toiling with the people are suffering from poverty, unemployment, hunger, inequality, racial discrimination, all ill consequences of imperialist globalization. A part of the backward countries, the workers and imperialist capitalist countries are also suffering the severest exploitation due to the neo-colonial exploitive policies. The situation and need for unity of the world proletariat is growing day by day. This time for a steadfast fight to end globalization, a part of the proletariat of imperialist capitalist countries, people of all sections of in several semi-colonial, neo-colonial countries are struggling against imperialist globalization policies, and the proletarian vanguard, i.e. the revolutionary communist parties, must lead their struggles. Today is an increasing need to advance more in a united, organized manner in this direction. In our country, the entire oppressed classes and social sections of oppressed nationalities, including the proletariat and the peasantry, are facing a brutal onslaught of the Modi government. Ooh, this is a long read. Modi government in a form of brutamic Hindutva fascism with the imperialist support. Struggles of workers and employees and farmers intensify day by day. I'll be right back. I just need to go take a bathroom break. Okay, I am back. Sorry about that long wait, not going to lie. Okay, where was I? Day by day. In the interest of the imperial finance capital, the Modi government forced robotic 3D printing and artificial intelligence, depriving the workers of job security, and shrunk existence of 44 labor laws into 4 codes to validate exploitation. Wait, let me do something. The organized and unorganized workers are making a militant agitations against the bifacial onslaught. Are making a militant agitations against the bifacial onslaught. Where else? Where else? The farmers of India are making an unprecedented, non-compromise struggle centered in the capital city in the country. Traders are against the GTS LOSC head of organized and unorganized workers, and employees are taking up strikes opposing the mergers of banks and privatization of the public sector, and student enterprises, and teachers and academics are against National Education Policy 2020 adopted by Hindu reactionary forces in the center. The indigenous people of the country, including those of strategic areas, are acting as a strong wait, as strong centuries of revolutionary movement are fighting militarily just for their rights. For their right. Sorry. I kind of lose a little bit of track, not gonna lie. The toiling classes are taking up a united struggle against a bureaucratic order that is the perpetuities in India in its exploitation of oppression and suppression and discrimination of the state unleashed repression on democratic progressive forces, stood in support of struggling people of the country, throwing them behind bars, and secular forces are fighting against the communal violence, the violent police of the fascist bureaucratic Hindutva forces. Several rights organizations are taking up the demands to withdraw fascist draconian laws being bureaucratically unleashed of the struggle on the struggling people. Thus, we have seen the governments in all backwards countries of the world are acting alike in the interests of multinational corporations and companies, therefore have become more vital for the revolutionary proletarian parties and organizations to lead the struggle, the entire struggle, toilers in all countries, the large-scale struggles of the oppression of people in all nationalities all over the world for the past 2 years make it clear that conditions are in favor of revolution. The world proletariat can step forward in the direction of fulfilling its main task of accomplishing world socialist revolution by utilizing these favorable conditions. These are true strategic tasks, revolutionary for genuine vanguard organizations of the international proletariat, first launched revolutionary movements of the workers and oppressed sections in the capitalist imperialist countries, the proletariat, peasantry, and other democratic classes and social sections in each semi-colonial, semi-feudal must be organized and build and lead a national democratic movement. And the second is to build strong, united fronts of communist movements of capitalist countries. national democratic movements of neo-colonial, semi-colonial countries against imperialism and its comprador. For this purpose, it is essential for a general proletarian parties of organizing to establish a appropriate international revolutionary organizations according to the contemporary concrete conditions. The Maoist forces, we must unite with the entire progressive democratic forces in every country and also the entire anti-imperialist democratic forces against a worldwide enemy. Both these strategic tasks are mutually related and play an important role in advancing world socialist revolution. However, the proletarian vanguard organizations are not yet strong enough to catch up with the demands and toiling people and provide a united leadership for their movements. In the direction of liberation, our party has announced its stance to the need and formation of international forums to develop unity and solidarity among proletarian vanguards. The Central Committee of our party appeals to the sister organizations to the response. Our stance is to advance efforts in this direction. Let us fight back all kinds of onslaughts on imperialists. Let us pledge to lead an anti-imperialist people's struggle and strive for the successful world socialist revolution. Let us further unite and get organized in this direction. This is the need of the hour. Long live May Day, long live revolution, with long live world socialist revolution, down with all shades of revisionism, down with imperialism, long live proletarian revolutions. Abishai, spokesperson of the Central Committee. Okay. Now let's get into the Communist Party. Let me do something. Now, let us get to the Communist Party of Peru. And also, this will be blocked. I know this will be blocked by the Peruvian government, be blocked in Peru as well, because let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I just bet this, but I know it hasn't happened to me yet. They're both considered terrorist organizations in their own respective countries, really. And so now let's get with the Communist Party of Peru. They have been waging protracted People's War for years now, and it basically started as wait. It started in the late 1970s. This is the Communist Party of Peru, led by Chairman Abimael Guzman. They led a protracted People's War for years, and almost won, where they had control 40% of the country. There's many myths made against them every single time. Basically, they make so many myths about them that it's just too much to debunk all at once, really, not gonna lie. And also, let me set up my share screen, as well as they are now led by a great comrade. Her name is Comrade Laura of the PCP. And basically, let us get started. Basically, she's the leader of the PCP. And now, let us get into their May Day declaration with the other allies they also have. And also, Viva Guerrilla Popular. Okay, let's see. Can you guys see it? Wait. I think it's not showing up yet. Let me do it. This is much better. Much better. Okay. Okay. Long live May 1st, the day of the international proletariat, the development of revolutionary situation and combat the repression and the imperialist war. Let me see how long this is going to be. Oh, not that long, really. Mhm. Okay. We are witnessing the deterioration and the death throes of the outdated, senile, decrepit societies. At the same time, we are witnessing gestation in the formation of the slow, relentless elaboration of the new society. All of us who have sincerely ideological affiliations are connected to the new society and separate from the old society must fix our eyes deeply in the transition and agitation, an intense period of human history. This is from Jose Carlos Mariatega, The History of the World Crisis. As I quote, proletarian leadership has fundamentally changed the whole face of revolution, has brought upon the new alignment of classes. Let me promote this a bit more. Uh, let me promote this to a Maoist server because I'm okay. Now let us wait for an influx of views. Okay, back to what I was saying. Proletarian's leadership fundamentally changed the whole face of revolution, has brought a new alignment of classes, and given a rise to a tremendous upsurge in the peasant revolution, impartial thoroughness of a revolution against imperialism and feudalism, and created the possibility in of the transition from democratic revolution to socialist revolution, and so on. None of these was possible in the period when revolutions was under bourgeois leadership. End quote. So basically, Jose Carlos Mariatega was the guy who kind of made indigenous communism really, and was kind of like the founder of a Peruvian style communism, where he was the original founder of the original Communist Party of Peru, where he had founded the original Communist Party of Peru in 1928 and died in 1933. Rest in peace. Now from Chairman Mao Zedong on contradiction. End quote. How is the hegemony of the proletariat attained? Only through real communist parties, the Marxist-Leninist Maoist Party that is consistently and firmly serves the interests of the class, defend those of the people. And now now let's get to the majority of it. Interview with Chairman Abimael Guzman. Chairman Gonzalo, if you don't know who Chairman Gonzalo is, he is the leader of the PCP who's currently in prison. Free Gonzalo! Free him! Free him now! And the founder of the new PCP, he was in the original PCP, which he had made the first formation, which was the PCP Red Faction, and later on founded the Communist Party of Peru, aka what we call the PCP, or what the public knows as the Shining Path, but that is the name the state has the fascist state has given them. Now, let us finish. Let us start with the reading. In the celebration of May 1st, and the 150th anniversary of the Paris Commune, the Peru People's Movement generated an organ of the Communist Party for the work abroad and expresses its warm and solemn salutes to our class and the international proletariat and oppressed peoples of the world and on this occasion. Also, let me get myself a little set up. I'm not gonna lie. This is gonna be great. Also, please like, share, and subscribe, and please share this stream around. I want all of y'all to check this out. But back to this. It expresses to our class, international proletariat, and oppressed peoples of the world. Wait a minute. Of our international proletariat of the oppressed peoples of the world, the occasion we are more reaffirmed ourselves in the principles established of 1848 in the Communist Manifesto, the program of the proletariat until communism, and the other great milestones of the international proletarian movement. The Paris Commune of 1971, the proletariat takes the power the first time in 1905, the dress rehearsal of Revolution of 1917, the triumph of the October Revolution, which the class re-established its dictatorship in the open era of the World Proletariat Revolution. In 1994, the triumph of the Chinese Revolution, which is joint dictatorship led by the proletariat. It is established to solve the step of the Socialist Revolution of 1966 to 1976, the Great Proletarian Cultural Revolution, which solves the question how to continue revolution under the dictatorship of the proletariat and continue in march until our final goal, communism, the society without classes, without exploitation. The current situation in the world continues to confirm that one. Right, let me see. Basically, what was it? It was said, 1. Imperialism, the whole global system of exploitation, oppression, finding itself its general and final crisis, and 2. Revolutionary situation and uneven development is expressed all over the world. The World Proletarian Revolution and its strategic offensive. The recurring crisis of overpopulation is inevitable in capitalism and leads to the financial crisis, sharpened of the class struggle between the proletariat and the bourgeoisie, sharpened contradictions of imperialism and the oppressed nations, today the principal contradiction of the world level, and the sharpened and inter-imperialist contradiction and desperate attempts to maintain the old rotten order that the imperialist bloodsuckers sink more and more the crisis of bourgeois democratic parliamentarianism today. Today, where 3 superpowers, the Yankee, Chinese, Russian, intensify their new redivisions. Redivisions of the world and prepare for the Third World War, when all imperialists intensify the exploitation, the attacks on the proletariat and the people, they result more and more to fascism. Terrified of revolution and the The reaction therefore cancels not only the economic conquest of the masses, but also attacks the political conquest. Thus, in Italy, we witnessed the fascist dictatorship. But in this way, the bourgeoisie undermines and destroys the moral wounds, democratic institutions, and it loses all its moral strength and its ideological prestige. This is from Mario Tega. In this, the general wait, in this, the general and final crisis is no longer possible for the ruling class to apply their methods of social democratic reforms of the quote-unquote welfare state to maintain the status quo in the imperialist countries. This is more and more difficult to support the middle classes, privileged strata, petty bourgeoisie, and the proletariat to serve as quote-unquote buffers, and contains the class struggle, although the bourgeoisie still has help of their intellectuals and social chauvinist workers aristocracy. The crisis of imperialism has begun to undermine even the loyalty of the middle strata in the middle system, thus intensifies the crisis of bourgeois democracy and tendency towards open dictatorship and fascism to facilitate and intensify the exploitation of the proletariat, the plunders of oppressed countries in the imperialist war, and the big bourgeoisie in its states. We are carrying out a chauvinist and race. Oh wait, its states are carrying out a chauvinist racist campaign on the world level against peoples in the third world, mainly peoples of the Middle East, behind the slogans quote unquote against extremism and terrorism, and the intensified repression that cancels off the demi-liberal rights in all countries today, using COVID-19 pandemic as a pretext. What we see is now is the continuation of counter-revolutionary offenses of imperialism, revisionism, and world reaction against proletarian revolution, but there are measures and are nothing more than a despair vain attempts of rotten and dying systems in its final crisis. The role of revisionism of reformists and so-called democratic socialists or quote-unquote anti-authoritarians embellish imperialism to present bloodsucker perpetuators of the genocide and fascist states as quote-unquote democrats and defenders of human rights, quote-unquote, wraps it all up in false radical slogans to maintain the illusion of quote-unquote democracy. The revisionists inside and outside the parliaments or quote-unquote pacifists or armed all have the task of promoting in the ranks of the proletariat and the people's capitulation before the imperialists and reaction. But all it shows, imperialist reaction and revisionism tremble with fear before the masses and their struggles. Let me get some water. Ow, this is a long read. The proletariat and oppressed peoples advancing to mobilize themselves and more in their heroic struggles for daily demands against the system of exploitation and oppression. In Peru, in India, the Philippines, in Turkey, and other places, people's war and armed struggles are developing under the banner of Maoism, mobilizing millions of workers and the peasants under the leadership of communist parties in the struggle to the death against revisionism in order to maintain the course of revolution to destroy old reactionary states, while building the leadership of communist parties in the while building the new power and the whole proletariat mobilizing in a hard and violent struggles in defense of their rights, advancing their class consciousness and in unmasking the dark role of revisionism and oppression of peoples, and never cease to combat and resist imperialist invaders, clamoring of the proletarian leadership that is necessary to the final sweep, and any bloodsucker conqueror and true national sovereignty continues of the revolution to all the women all over the world struggle against the old rotten patriotic patriarchal order, and the proletarian feminists advance the unmasking of the crushing bourgeois feminism, which tries to use the struggle of women as just more than a political tool for reaction in service of exploitation and genocidal war. The decisive point of power is to be able to unite all these struggles, and the final sweep imperialism and all exploitation off the face of the earth is proletarian leadership, that is, communist parties, the new type, Marxism, Leninism, Maoism, and militarized that applies the universal ideology of our class to concrete conditions of each revolution, building a united front as the first class of people under the hegemony of the proletarian revolution unite just struggles of the people in order to prepare its initiates to develop the People's War in each country until the conquest of power and uniting the struggles of the world level, aiming the World People's War to finally encircle and destroy and sweep away imperialism off the face of the earth. Where was I? Okay, it was saying, under the people of classes of people under the hegemony of the proletariat uniting all just struggles of the people in order to prepare and innate and develop people's war in each country until conquest of power, and uniting the struggles on the world level and aiming for the world people's war to finally encircle and destroy and sweep away imperialism off the face of the earth. This is the Marxist line, the only line of the proletariat. The proletariat unite and organize under Marxism. Today, Marxism, Leninism, Maoism, principally Maoism, the main enemy of the bourgeoisie, the whole imperialist system. This all ends. This representative measures of all these reactionary propaganda not aimed against quote-unquote extremism or anti-capitalism. Maintain the enemy of the bourgeoisie, the whole system, all and end their representative measures and their reactionary propaganda, not against quote-unquote extremism, anti-capitalism in general, but against Marxism-Leninism, because they know that against a working class armed with its scientific ideology, its guns, guns, they can only accept defeat. The development of modern industry therefore cuts under its feet. It's the very foundation of which the bourgeoisie produces and appropriates products. What the bourgeoisie therefore produces, all above all, are its own gravediggers. It falls under the victory of proletariat equality inevitable. Long live May 1st, the day of international proletariat. Long live Marxism, Leninism, Maoism, principally Maoism. Long live Chairman Gonzalo and all of his all-powerful thought. People's War until communism. Damn. Okay. Now I'll try my camera. Sorry, not gonna lie, I'm kind of tired, not gonna lie. But thank you all for watching and for seeing these May 1st decorations. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for basically our US for KRTV Media, and don't forget to see the US Solution Summit. And also, I will be streaming next with the Obnoxious Anarchist, and we'll get back to the regular format of where I invite a guest on. But as well as next, don't forget to go to my channel on May 15th to go see me do a stream talking about KRTD Media and their US Solution Summit with Reef Brent, who's also host of KRTD Media. And we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye! Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. On next Saturday.